Welcome to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show, a real estate investment program. Listen and learn how to use real estate to build wealth and passive income streams for you and your family. We bring you experts every day to discuss and answer your questions on everything from single-family homes all the way up to 600-plus unit apartment complexes. And now, the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Welcome to the show. My name is Al Gordon, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. On today's show, I want to talk about living the lifestyle. At Lifestyles Unlimited, actually, lifestyle is in the name of our organization. Living the lifestyle is the goal. It's the objective of all of our members. Now, if you're not living a lifestyle that you're enjoying, that is your first hint that what you're doing is potentially not effective. Now, some of you might be thinking, hey, you know what? I'm good. I'm working a good job. I enjoy what I'm doing. I've got a great family. I'm making decent money. I live in a nice house. What could be better? And I'm here to tell you, it can be much better. It can be absolutely much better. Because here's the problem with working a job. You're trading time for money. That's exactly what you're doing. You're putting in whatever hours you're putting in. And you are under the control of somebody else. Somebody else that tells you when to work, how to work, what to do, when you can take vacation. If you have a medical issue that comes up, and maybe you need to have surgery and you need to be off the job for a little bit of time, you got to get that cleared by the boss. And depending on what's going on in the organization, that timing may not work for them. Because remember, the organization you're working for is concerned about other things that don't necessarily include you. Now, not all organizations are like that. There are some great organizations out there that really believe that their employees are their partners. But not every organization is like that. Now, they may tell you that. They may say, oh, you know what? You're important to us. You're this, you're that, you're the other thing. Yet still, they've got a leash on you. A leash that controls your movement. So lifestyle to me means having the ability to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, and on my terms. Now, I do work. I do this radio show. I share with you information that you need here regarding how to invest correctly. Because I think what you're doing right now may not be working for you. What you may be doing is, stuffing money into a 401k. Maybe you've got an IRA. Maybe you self-direct your money into stock funds. I don't know what you do. But I'll tell you this. Statistically, what you're doing for retirement is ineffective. Now, some of you are really good at putting money away. And that term of putting money away is really a concept of savings. Now, you may be taking those savings and investing it in something like the stock market. Trust me, I've been there. I know exactly what you're doing. But you've got no control over that stock market. You absolutely have no control over it. And I was looking at the stock market. It's doing some weird stuff. It was down significantly earlier today. It looks like it's recovered a little bit. But over the last couple of days, it's kind of dropped. And I'm talking about the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ was above 14,000. And right now it's trading at around 12,750. So that's a significant reduction in valuation. And you're at the mercy of what that stock market's going to do. Now, your financial planner is going to tell you, don't worry about it because you're in it for the long haul. You're doing dollar cost averaging, meaning when the price of the stocks go down, you're really not losing anything because you're buying additional shares at a cheaper price. Those shares are on sale. And that's all fine and dandy if you've got a long horizon in front of you. But what if you're coming up to a period in your life that looks like retirement? Volatility in the stock market can have a significant impact on your lifestyle. The other thing I need to tell you is that what you're doing right now, it's a long-term commitment. From the time you decide to start putting money into a 401k or IRAs or SEPs or whatever you're doing, you're going to wait until a long period of time passes and you're going to retire. And you're going to try and live off of that money. Some of you will live very comfortably. Most of you won't. Most of you will be getting by. And even more of you will get to a point where you'll run out of money and your only income stream is going to be Social Security. And you got to ask yourself, can you live off of Social Security? So when it comes to lifestyle, I think it's very important for you to take a step back and look at what you're actually doing. Do you control your time? Probably not. Do you control what you do, when you do it, and how you do it? Probably not. Even if you're happy with the work you do, you're still subject to that employer's beck and call. And if you ever had a period in your life where you were planning to do something, you set aside vacation, and then all of a sudden something happened at work and you had to modify your plans. You had to step away from taking that vacation you were waiting for to focus on the job. Because the job is really becoming your controller. When we come back from the break, I'm going to talk a little bit more about lifestyle because I think you need to understand that there is a better approach.
Welcome back to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Now, let's get back to your map to financial freedom.
Welcome back to the show. So Merriam-Webster defines lifestyle as the typical way of life of an individual, group, or culture. So that means, to me, you probably have multiple layers of your lifestyle. I mean, there's your working portion of your lifestyle. There's your family portion of your lifestyle. There's the leisure portion of your lifestyle. I mean, there's different things that you do in the making up of your life that causes you to have different kinds of lifestyles. And at Lifestyles Unlimited, we believe that there are actually 7 things you need to focus on when it comes to determining what your lifestyle should be. And I'm going to hit you with them right now. The first one is spirituality. The next one is legacy, followed by family, growth, fun, health, and wealth. See, we believe that if you focus on those 7 elements, it's going to give you a complete picture of not only who you are right now, but it's going to allow you to sit down and figure out, what do you want to be in the future? And I don't care how old you are. You need to think about what your life is going to be like in the future. At one point in my life, I was working like a dog. I mean, now my dogs don't work very hard. As a matter of fact, they're both very spoiled. So yeah, I don't have working dogs. But the point I want to make is this. I spent a career in the military. I spent 27 years serving in the United States Army. That was my career. It's what funded my ability to attend college. Because like you, I was told by many people when I was much younger that the secret to success in your life is to do well in school. Stay focused in school. Do well in school. Get good grades. And the rationale for that was to get into college. And you know what? I did. I was accepted by almost all of the colleges I applied for. But the biggest problem I had was that I couldn't afford to go to college. And the school I wanted to go to the most, the school that I actually went to, was a private university. I think tuition back then was like, I don't know, 10 grand a year, something like that. I mean, we're talking the 80s. I graduated from high school in 1982. And $10,000 a year was a huge amount of money back in the 80s. My parents did not make a lot of money. They did not. So in order for me to go to school, I had to compete for scholarships, which I did. And I was a recipient of a 4-year scholarship sponsored by the United States Army. They said that they would pay for my school, and in exchange, I agreed to serve a certain amount of time in the United States Army. Well, I figured, you know what? That can't be all bad, right? Because going to college was supposed to be that mechanism that got me into a great line of work. And, you know, to be honest with you, it actually did. I enjoyed serving in the military. That service in the military was a grind at times. I mean, when I first entered the military, after I graduated from college, it was a time period when, well, a guy by the name of Ronald Reagan was president. And one of the things Reagan did was he started a process to rebuild the military systems, because after the Vietnam War, well, it really wasn't a war, it was a conflict. After Vietnam happened, the military was pretty much gutted. There was not a lot of funding going into the military. So Reagan decided he was going to change that. And he went to work, and he did change that. So when I entered into the military, there was still some of that holdover stuff. You know, I remember we couldn't go to the range to do marksmanship training because there was no ammunition for us to shoot. And over time, the military was funded more and more. And over time, I got more entrenched into what I was doing with the military. It was my way of life. It was my lifestyle. See, I liked wearing the uniform. I was proud to wear the uniform. I served with a lot of people who were older than me in the military that had lived through the Vietnam era. And if you're a Vietnam vet and you're listening to my voice, I just want to say thank you very much and welcome home. Because what the country did to you was not right. Now, fortunately, over time, that's all changed. But that was my lifestyle. Being in the military, doing what the military told me to do, going where the military told me to go. And sometime around 1995, actually sooner than that, I want to say 1994, I met a beautiful woman. Her name is Tina, and she's my wife today. I fell in love, and I married that girl. And she was kind enough to be willing to follow me from duty station to duty station, uprooting our household every couple of years as I continued to serve in the military, because that was, to me, that was my lifestyle. That's what I was doing. It was so ingrained in me. It was part of who I was. I mean, if I took the uniform off, I was kind of lost. I didn't quite know what to do. And that lifestyle perpetuated for me for 27 years. And along the way, my wife gave me 2 beautiful children that I love and adore. And they're great kids. Well, they're not kids anymore, they're adults. But that was my lifestyle. And I dragged them from duty station to duty station along the way, disrupting their lives because my life was the most important in my family. It was my lifestyle of serving in the military that was driving everything. And after 27 years, the United States Army decided it was time for me to retire. And so I did. When we come back from the break, I'm going to tell you about the giant sucking sound in my checking account when that occurred. Stick around.
Warning. Listening to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show will change your life. We will teach you how to create wealth and passive income so you can be financially free. And now, back to your host.
Welcome back to the show. So I'm talking about lifestyle. What I wanted to share with you was that I was living a certain lifestyle for a good portion of my life. I had decided to accept an Army ROTC scholarship, which allowed me to pay for college. Oh, by the way, it didn't pay for room and board, so I actually had to take out a little student loan debt and work on the side in order to get through college. But once I went into the United States Army, things were a little different for me. You know, I went from being a, what do they say on Big Brother? I went from being a have-not to a I don't know what they call those things. Any people that watch Big Brother, you know what I'm talking about. At that moment, I went from a place in my life where I wasn't making very much money. I mean, in high school, I worked fast food. And the money that I earned from that job literally paid for a car. That was my lifestyle. It at least gave me an opportunity to go places, to do some things that I couldn't do on my bicycle. And when I entered the Army, I started getting pay and allowances. I actually started earning money, more money than I had ever earned before. Now, don't get me wrong. A second lieutenant in the United States Army, even by today's pay scale, is not crazy money. It's not huge money. But it was more money than I had ever earned in my life. And it actually allowed me some flexibility to do some things. And back then I was single. You know, my time was my own. And then when I met my wife, well, my future wife at that time, and we started having children, great children, by the way, who are now great adults, their lifestyle was impacted by me because I was focused on serving my nation. I was also focused on earning a pension. At that time, that was the retirement plan that the military offered. And if you didn't get to 20 years of active service, you didn't qualify for a pension. Now, you can serve in the reserve component and still earn a pension, but that pension is a portion based on the amount of time you physically serve in comparison to what you earn by serving on active duty for 20 years. But here's the thing that happened to me. In 2014, I retired from the Army. As a matter of fact, it was March 1st, 2014. So if you're looking at the calendar, that was 7 years ago. And I had just come home from a deployment overseas, retired out of Fort Hood, Texas. I had relocated my family from California, which is where I was before my prior deployment, and we decided to retire in Texas. And part of the reason we decided to do that, there's a couple reasons. Number one, cost of living. Cost of living is far more favorable in Texas than it is in California. Number two, no state income tax. Texas does not charge a state income tax. California has the highest state income tax in the nation. Number three, housing cost. We were able to buy a beautiful home in Texas to retire in that I could have never afforded in California. So I came home, retired, and I thought, I'm a smart guy. I'll just get right back into the workforce, because that's what happens to most military people that retire. They leave their job in the military and they have to take a job somewhere else. Now, some guys and gals, they become defense contractors. Well, I was kind of done with all of that. I didn't want to go do that. And I figured I'd take a shot at getting into the civilian workforce. And it was tough. It was very tough. I was 50 years old when I retired. I was dealing with ageism. There are people that look at you and go, man, you got some good skill sets, but you know what? Considering this particular job, I could hire somebody less qualified, get them trained up, and pay them less money than you would expect to be paid. And that's kind of what I was dealing with. In the meantime, I was trying to live off of my pension. Now, the pension pays me every month. I get a direct deposit into my checking account. But the problem is that pension pays about 1/3 of what I had been earning while I was on active duty. And the expenses of living did not stop. So it was very critical that I find employment. And I'll tell you what, I ran out of money real fast. Savings gone real quick. Title loans on vehicles that were free and clear, that money was gone. Turned to credit cards for cash advances to try and keep things going. Finally got to a point where I was hired for a job. 10 months later, it took me 10 months to penetrate into the workforce. And that job did not pay me the amount of money that I was trying to earn. But I needed a job. And I went to work in cubicle hell. I really did. I was overqualified for the job that I had. Now, I did a great job. Don't get me wrong. I was focused on the job. I did everything that I needed to do. I actually enjoyed the work that I did. What I hated was the toxic work environment that I was working in. And I thought I was going to be living in cubicle hell until the age of 70 when I was going to take out Social Security and maybe get a meager pension that came from this second job that I had. A couple of years into it, I was miserable. My lifestyle was not anywhere near where I wanted it to be. And I heard the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show, and I decided to take a look at what real estate investing could do for me. I became a member of Lifestyles Unlimited. I did that in June of 2017. And in 2018, I think it was around March, I was able to walk away from that job that I hated because of the things that I learned from Lifestyles Unlimited that helped me to restructure my life financially. It was a huge game changer. See, I didn't even know that I could invest in multifamily apartment communities. I thought that was only for big, faceless, nameless entities. I had no idea that by learning how to correctly invest in real estate, I could get significant returns on my investment that created the catalyst for a lifestyle change for me. And now I live a lifestyle where I'm, for the most part, pretty much in control of my time and what I do. And I make decisions based on what is important to me and my family. And I've got income streams that are assisting me with living the lifestyle that I want to live. I joined a community of like-minded people that encourage me and help me understand what I don't know. It is a huge game changer. We come back from the break, I'll tell you why.
Welcome back to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. It's time to turn up the volume and fine-tune your passive income plan so you can create the lifestyle you've always wanted.
Welcome back to the show. So our founder and CEO, Del Walmsley, who put Lifestyles Unlimited together over 30 years ago because he got tired of doing the things that I was doing, the things that you're probably doing, which is literally trading time for money. And he discovered real estate investing and learned that by buying one particular house and then another house and then another house and another house, he was able to create streams of income that he could live off of. And when he had enough of those streams of income coming in that it meted or exceeded his cost of living, he was effectively retired. And he didn't stop there. See, then he went on and realized that his objective was to create a lifestyle for himself that he never had before. Do you get that? I got it through my thick skull because what happened to me was I was living a lifestyle that I was content with. I was living a good lifestyle, serving in the military. But my time was not my own. As a matter of fact, the final 5 years of my service in the military, I was literally gone for 4 of those years. And I'm not going to get into the details as to why that happened. That was essentially me having 1 year out of 5 years available for my family. And it weighed heavily on me because I wasn't there. I was off doing Army man stuff. And at that point in my career, I was getting so close to that pension that I wanted when I was a younger man. I wasn't interested in walking away from it because I was so close to the prize. And then when I got the prize failed me. That pension was not able to sustain my lifestyle. And I had to go to work. And I had to work in an organization that, you know what? I didn't like it. Which impacted my lifestyle in a negative way. And then when I found Lifestyles Unlimited and I realized that what I was doing for retirement wasn't really working, even though I was kind of quasi-retired. I mean, I had retired from the military, but I wasn't really retired because I had to go back to work. I started to learn the fundamental information that is taught as a part of our educational program. And I realized that some of the investments that I was making were ineffective investments, that I was getting terrible rates of return. And if I just repurposed that money into real estate assets, I could do so much better. And I did. But I didn't start investing in those real estate assets until I had properly educated myself. And as a part of that proper education, I developed relationships with mentors, people that had gone before me that were helping me get to where I was trying to get to. People that helped me understand that investing is all about rates of return. It's those rates of return that will accelerate your retirement horizon. We make no bones about it. We tell you flat out, we can help you get retired in 5 years or less. And we mean it. Now, you're going to have to do some work, but it's not a full-time job. You can start with one single-family house, and that house can make a difference. Not a huge difference, but it can start making a difference in your income streams. You start replacing the cost of living with the passive income that comes from these assets that you're investing in. And when you know how to do it correctly, it's not difficult at all. The other huge benefit that I received by joining Lifestyles Unlimited is the fact that I got to meet so many wonderful people. I'm a part of a culture right now. People that have gone before me that share information with me, people that are coming behind me that I get to help, people that are literally side by side with me, that are working on developing that lifestyle. Because I gave up on a lifestyle when I left the military. I really thought life was all about working until I die. And I'm here to tell you, no, that is not the right answer. One of the things Dell says, that what gets in the way of a good life is an okay life. He also goes on to say that what gets in the way of a great life is a good life. Now, I want you to think about that for a minute, because he's spot on. See, you can get into a place of contentment, and I think we have a tendency to do that when we're employees or when we're self-employed. We get to a certain level, and we just want to maintain the status quo. And if you're in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, or whatever, you've been working for a while. And if that effort is not creating a massive change in your life, you need to find a different path to follow. See, earlier in the show, I told you that there are 7 elements that we use at Lifestyles Unlimited to develop our lifestyle: spirituality, legacy, family, growth, fun, health, and wealth. And I am focused on all 7 of those elements. And by correctly investing in real estate and receiving the rewards and the benefits of those assets in the form of passive income streams and the fact that the real estate is growing in value, it's all about working on the lifestyle now. As a matter of fact, when I am done with the radio show today, I'm going to go down to the coast of Texas, the Gulf Coast, and I'm going to do a little fishing with 2 guys that I know very well. One of them's a Lifestyles Unlimited member. The other one, who is a friend of ours, is curious about what we do at Lifestyles Unlimited. And we're going to share information about what we're doing to change our lives with him. Because we're not trying to keep this information secret. We're not trying to hoard information. I think everybody deserves a shot at creating the lifestyle that they've always wanted. And I'm going to go do a little of that this weekend. I'm looking forward to the fact that, hey, 1 o'clock, I can take off. I don't have to necessarily worry about working for the rest of the day, nor do I have to ask my boss for time off, because I'm in control. You know, you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, Al, you do the radio shows, so, I mean, you know, you're kind of stuck from 12 to 1. Yeah, I am. But it's not really being stuck, because I love what I'm doing. I love helping you understand that, like me, there is a better way. And I've found that better way. I just want to share the opportunity with you. Now, real estate investing, maybe it's not for you. I don't know. But I think you owe it to yourself to spend a little time taking a look at what we do. Judge for yourself. See what we do. I'm going to give you 2 different opportunities to check us out. The first one is go to freeworkshoplivestream.com. That's where we give you what we call our free workshop, where we tell you about what we do and how we do it. We'll even show you how we buy real estate properties. The other one is something called Case Study. And what Case Study is an opportunity for you to see our members in action. And if you want to attend Case Study, send me an email at askal@luinc.com.
The Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.